always keeps happening? Why does that do that? Ugh. Sorry, guys. Still working the kinks out. Anyway, here's my point on all this. So there's an article out of the New York Post. Let me pull that up for you guys here so you can see what I'm talking about. And it says, as you can see right here, same-sex couple makes history by carrying same baby. Well, I think that's sweet and all. The article basically goes on to say, in medical first, two mothers have carried the same baby. Ashley Coulter gave birth to a son both she and her wife, Bliss Coulter, carried, thanks to a breakthrough method in vitro fertilization. The method, called effortless reciprocal IVF, it doesn't seem like that's effortless, okay? Anytime you're talking about putting a sperm and an egg together and then planting it up in the uterus and whatnot, that doesn't seem effortless, but I digress. Allowed Bliss to incubate her own embryo. Then the embryo was placed inside of Ashley, where it grew until she delivered it. In June, Stetson was born at a healthy 8 pounds and 3 ounces. Man, yeah, he was a tanker. I'm excited to put all of this in his baby book. Ashley, 29, tells the Post of the medical breakthrough. The couple from Texas sought out the treatment because they wanted a way for both of them to be involved in the pregnancy. And simply using a sperm donor would have meant only one of them could have carried the child. Well, time out a minute. Back to train up. According to the left's logic, it's not a child until it's, viable, and that's like way farther down the road. It's just a clump of cells and a fetus. So I'm sorry you can't have your egg and eat it too, so to speak. Bad analogy, I apologize. But you can't say, hey, we both carried the child. Because I would guarantee you, betting nickels to donuts, I don't know if that's the same, but you mean what I know, that if these people were on the other end, they would say a woman has a right to choose whether or not to terminate a pregnancy. And it's not a child until way farther down the road. And even then, we won't get into all the craziness of it, but even then you can still kill it. But anyway, here though, she carried it for a week, the little clump of cells, right, that they would normally call the fetus. And now they want to claim they both carried the child. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't, okay? Only one of them carried the child according to your logic. So that's my whole point in this quick little video snippet, is that I find it a little bit ironic that you think you both carried the child, because you clearly didn't, okay? According to your logic. According to mine, yes, that's a child, right? But anyways, I digress, and I'm going to piss some people off with that, but it's completely and thoroughly and totally okay with me that I piss you off, because life's too short to not piss some people off once in a while. Another little article I want to touch on, I should have probably had it up here, but I don't. So give me a minute while I find it. Is an article that basically says along the lines that if you're tall, you can't ask a shorter woman out on a date, because that could be considered sexual misconduct. I'm not making this shit up. I wish I was. So let me find the article here. Just bear with me. Bear with me here. Hang on. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Oh, hope everybody has a good new year. Got a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news right now. School pays male student $47,000 after it punished him based on nothing more than an accusation. Oh, sorry, wrong story. Who plagiarized? No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. That'd be a good one to talk about, though. Nope, not it either. Still looking for it. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Maybe I should have just Googled it under a different title there, but now I feel like I'm committed to finding this. Don't you wish sometimes when you're live streaming you could just pause it or edit it all down later so you don't see this part of it? But that wouldn't be fun, right? Oh, right here. Okay, I found it. Here it is. Okay. Okay, here it is. This is a beaut right here. Let me cut back over and see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this article, Mizzou official claims tall man asking out short women could constitute sexual misconduct. Wow. Getting up the courage to ask somebody out on a date can already be nerve-wracking, but now that college campuses have completely gone off the deep end, that fear will be intensified. Today's crazy comes from, unsurprisingly, the University of Missouri. Mizzou. Best known for torpedoing its enrollment rates after campus protests led to professor to threaten a student journalist. An official Mizzou indicated during a deposition that a male student who was physically larger than the female student he asked out may have violated the school's title policy because his physical size gave him power over her. And now, is it the one? Is that 6? It's the X is 5, right? No, it's 4, 5. I don't know what Roman numeral that is, because my brain's not working right now. But at any rate, it doesn't really matter. Most of you think my brain doesn't work most of the time anyway, so it's all good. For years, we've been told that one must receive affirmative consent before anything of a dating or sexual nature takes place. Critics of such policies, such as this reporter, have often wondered what would happen if the mere ask is unwanted. Does that also constitute sexual harassment or assault? Now we appear to have our answer. Yes, it does. You know, this is crazy. You are just gun shy on all the dudes, and I know that's the feminist desire. We want to just put men down, and the left's crazy ass freaking logic wants to put men down at every corner, you know, at every possible turn, to where we're just trying to I don't know, are we trying to find all the beta males in the world and all the alpha males that actually have the balls enough to walk up to a chick and ask her out? And me being a taller man, 6'5", man, that would have really limited. If this was a rule or an actual thing and not just some retarded, crazy off the rails logic from the left, I would have not have been able to ask anybody out. I mean, not anybody, but, you know, it would have sure, you know, pulled the whole dating pool, thinned the dating herd out, if you will, because I would have to find a tall chick. And here's another thing. How tall is too tall? If I get a person that's even an inch taller than me, I feel really short. I'm like, oh, wow, this person's, they're tall. So how tall or how short is too short? It's kind of subjective if you really think about it. When a Mizzou official was questioned regarding a case where a black male PhD candidate at the school asked out a white female fitness trainer, and why does it really freaking matter? There was a black male asking out a white male. I don't see the connection there. She bizarrely suggested that the fact that the male student was larger than the female student gave him power over her and violated the school policy. Holy crap. Well, number one, newsflash, any dude's going to have power over a woman 95% of the time. I don't even care if he was shorter. He's still going to be able to overpower her. That's just science, guys. It's 95% of the time. Now, there is your cyborg, Chris Cyborg exceptions to the rule, where you have a chick that could beat the crap out of most dudes, but 95% of the time, probably closer to 98 or 99% of the time, quite frankly, but I'll give you the 5%. We'll say 95% of the time. Any dude is going to be able to overpower a chick. So just because somebody's taller, I feel like that's height shaming to me. You know, like you're being uninclusive, or, you're not being very inclusive to tall people. That's like tall shaming or something. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, the Daily Wire previously reported on the case in July. The male student, whom the Daily Wire will refer to as John Doe, asked out the female fitness instructor, who will be identified as Jane Roe. Why couldn't we just call her Jane Doe, John Doe, and Jane Doe? But now we got to go John Doe and Jane Roe. I mean, that's just weird to me. Anyway, she said she was busy, but discussed with him possibly going out a little later that month. 2 days later, she told him to stop making romantic advances towards her. Probably said stop making romantic advances towards me, because if she was talking to him. But anyway, according to John's lawsuit against Mizzou, Despite not wanting to date him, Jane asked John to keep taking her dance classes because it helps me pay for my tuition. Don't want to date you, but can you keep taking my classes? Oh, did my computer freeze up? That would be a bummer because I can't scroll down to read the rest of the story. It kind of puts a whole damper on my... Anyways, you're going to have to go read the rest of the story. It's silly. I don't probably need to read any more of it anyways. But that's just silly. Can we just say that's silly? Can we just both agree that's silly? Come on. That's dumb. When are we going to stop the dumbness, right? When are we going to quit being so stupid in a society? And not everybody. Most people understand that people that think this way, man, they just had a really, I don't know, just a messed up childhood. And they probably need counseling, and I can appreciate that. And they're tore up inside about stuff that went on as a kid, or who knows what, who knows why, you know. But people, let's quit being silly. Come on, let's just quit being silly. Let's be good people to one another and quit with this silly, crappy, leftist Marx. I don't even know what you call it. This political correct gone awry. This isn't even really politically correct. This is more just this like man hating. It's all kind of connected. It's all kind of sort of interconnected when you really get down to it. But can we quit the man hating, please? Can we quit all this silly, idiotic offenses, manufactured offenses, and manufactured harassment? Because really what it takes away from is the real things and the real harassments. And it just takes away from the voice and the legitimacy of when there's a real harassment, when there's a real social ill or social wrong done to somebody. If we're always crying wolf and seriously putting everything under the microscope, we're just going to be such a bubble wrap society that it's going to be not good for nobody. It really is. It's going to be good for nobody. So we just need to stop this silliness. That's kind of the gist of what I'm trying to get at. And I think most good people and normal people, and I've said it before, people that got a few brain cells we can just kind of rub together up there can understand it's kind of stupid. So that's about it. Until next time, please subscribe. SJG Perspective. We'll talk to you later, and have a good night. Bye. I'ma go get it tonight.